This one is an interesting situation with a off-duty police officer and a road rage situation. And in this situation, I'll show the video in just a second, but in this situation, an off-duty police officer witnessed a driver. So the off-duty police officer, his name is Matthew Ward, and the driver, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but last name is Kovalchuk. I know I didn't pronounce that name right. But he witnessed this driver speeding, or maybe he cut in front of him. Something happened. I believe he probably cut in front of him, as drivers do. So he became agitated. So he flashed his badge to the driver. Now, I don't know why he flashed the badge. Maybe it was signaling to him to slow down. I don't know what the deal was, but he flashed the badge. And the driver didn't respond, was suspicious. I'm not sure. Maybe words were said. So that irritated the off-duty, it appeared to irritated the off-duty police officer. So he followed this guy, insisting that this guy pull over. Now, that's an odd choice to make here, that an off-duty police officer is insisting this person to pull over. I'm not sure why. What he was going to do. Was he going to arrest this guy off duty? I mean, do you have handcuffs? I'm not sure what he was going to do. I'm not really sure what the crime is. But anyway, he insisted. Didn't work out. So he followed this guy. He chased this guy. And so they got up to supposedly miles up to 120 miles an hour for some reason. And finally, this guy pulled over at a hotel, and words were exchanged. The off-duty officer pulled out his gun. At one point, he's pointing it at this driver, telling him to get on the ground. And the driver's explaining, you're not even on duty. Somehow he knew he was an officer. And he says, you're not even on duty. And he says, I don't care. I'm on 24 hours. I'm on duty. And he has the gun out, and he's telling the guy to get on the ground. Now, I never saw the guy get on the ground. But, supposedly he did get on the ground. So this officer was arrested for road rage and whatever comes with that. His bail was $5,000, not a big bail. But it's this interesting choices that the officer made. And it's also interesting choices that this driver made. But it's this interesting choice that an off-duty officer made, instead of just ignoring it, letting it go, he seemed to allow his anger to seep in, and then he's going to use supposedly the position of his job that he was off duty to get this guy to pull over or to win somehow. I don't know. But the guy didn't respond. But then here's the question I have for myself. What crime did this guy commit that this person, off-duty officer, feels like he has to pull out his gun? Like, what happened here? Did you have to pull out your gun? Sometimes you'll see officers, off-duty officers, and they're involved. They're around when a robbery takes place, an armed robbery takes place. And yeah, they'll pull out their gun and they'll take care of that because people are in danger. They'll take care of that. You'll see situations like that. But when people are just driving, they're minding their own business. And maybe this guy was speeding. It's not your business. It's his business. And maybe this guy had cut somebody off or cut you off. I don't know. You do what the rest of us do. You just back off. You just get out of the way, whatever it is. But to chase this guy down creates a dangerous situation. He could have crashed. Happens all the time. And then to pull out the gun. Anytime someone pulls out a gun, it could go any way. Somebody will grab the gun, they get shot. He could have shot the gun. If he had shot this guy, how would he justify the reasoning for even pulling out the gun and then shooting this guy? It doesn't make sense to me. So they fired him, or he quit. He actually quit. They put him on leave without pay, and he quit. But when I think about it, you know, like his actions he did, I just don't think police officers around the country would support, and obviously not because he lost his job. I just don't think they would support that type of behavior where an off-duty police officer, and he's only been with the company, a police officer, for a few months, so he was inexperienced, I guess. But an off-duty wouldn't support an off-duty police officer chasing down a citizen over a traffic situation and then pulling out a weapon and telling the guy to get on the ground for what? It doesn't make sense. And then my thought process is too is police officers, usually they have something that distinguishes them as police officers. So you'll have a car, sirens, some sort of gear, something that says, yeah, this is a police officer. Because sometimes what happens is people will, you know, pretend that they're police officers, usually at night, but they pretend that they're police officers and they pull people over and then they do harm to people. Now, I think this was during the day, but just because somebody's driving down the road and they flash a badge doesn't mean anything. You know, a police car, even the undercover ones, they have specific sirens, so you'll know, lights, so you'll know that that's the situation that you're in. But somebody chasing a car down the road, no lights, no sirens, and just flashing a badge and saying pull over, that doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense to pull over. What does make sense is you dial 911 while you're driving and say, you know, I got this guy, he's flashing a badge, he's following me, he's chasing me, whatever it is. That makes sense. That makes sense. But somebody who's flashing a badge, chasing you, that's a dangerous person. And then my last thought is that an individual who would behave like that off duty, you know, using this type of judgment call, having this not be able to control their emotions off duty, just regular driving. So it doesn't seem that this person would be mature enough or mentally capable of handling the pressures that police officers face every day, all day long in their jobs, where they have to maintain some sort of professionalism, where they can't overreact, that they have to use judgment, you know, specific judgment situation. It doesn't feel like this person is there. So it makes sense that this person did lose their job. But let me show you the video.
I'm gonna film it.
911, what's the emergency?
I'm on Shiloh and Medical Center. There's a guy with a gun drawn right here in a Holiday Inn. He's pointing at a man. He's screaming at him right now. He's telling him to get on the ground. He's not doing anything. We need the police.
Hold on, because you're within the city limits, okay?
Not on duty. You can't. Doesn't matter. I am on duty 24/7.
This cop's saying he's on duty 24/7.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Police. I can't believe it.
Okay, I need you to hold on.
I am. He's an off-duty cop. Okay, well, I'm just explaining what's happening. He has his gun drawn to the guy. We're not near him.
You've been on my ass. How did I almost hit you? Greg was driving as well. So, man, this guy pulled a gun on me just because
I'm on the phone.
it's a road rage issue. I looked him in the news. I'm really scared.
He's telling the guy to get on the ground. He's at gunpoint. He's an off-duty, looks like an off-duty police officer.
That's interesting. It just looks like he even pointed the gun at the guy. It's so dangerous. Doesn't look like the driver complied at all. Looks like he got on the phone. Looks like he must have been talking to 911 is my guess. And so anyway, it's just an odd thing that an off-duty police officer would do that to a citizen. And I just don't think that's a representation of what officers would do or would want him to do. And I think that's why he lost his job. But that's all I got on that. Got any thoughts on it? Let me know. If you don't agree with me, it's all good. Doesn't matter to me either way. But peace and hope, everyone.